What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Rick? How's it going to Elbosh? Hope you guys are doing good. I actually forgot to tweet out my notifications, so give me just a sec here. Let's make sure everybody on Twitter knows that we're live. Got about 215 followers over there. If you want to be one of those, if you're not already following me on Twitter, go ahead and check out my page. It is 2020 Tech Reviews, at 2020 Tech Reviews. This is where I tweet out notifications and updates on things like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, anything, Robinhood Wallets, anything that has to do with crypto and what we talk about on stream. If I'm not live, I'm usually talking there or in the Discord group. So those are the two places to find me. I do recommend going ahead and checking me out. And the link is in the description too, if you forgot the name. It's towards the middle. So anyway, hope you guys are doing good. And let's go ahead and kind of get right into this. I'll share my screen so that we can do some TA. But first of all, let me answer some of your questions. As you can see, I have on the Doge shirt. I did not make this one myself. This is one of the first ones I found before I started making Doge t-shirts. And I bought this one off Amazon in case you're curious. But the Thinking Doge. I do like this shirt a lot. Let me read some of your comments here. So Rick and Elbosh say hello, everyone, and hello right back to you guys. Thanks again, Rick, for helping support the channel and being a member of the group. Brandon says, so is this a reason to get back into Doge or no? And Toby Entertainment says, I'm mad because Polygon's doing very well, and I was waiting for it to dip lower than $2. Well, let's first start with Toby's question there, or his point, where he said that he's mad because Polygon's doing very well. And let's go ahead and just take a look at how Polygon's doing before we talk about Doge, because that's going to be the majority of our discussion here. So if we can just find Polygon here, there it is. Looks like it's up 8% on the week over the last 7 days, and it looks like it's up just about 2% today, up to 237. Now, if we just look kind of at the list, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? I'm just talking to myself. There we go. Sorry, guys, you were probably very curious about what I was talking about. So, this is what I was showing. Over the last 7 days here, you can see Polygon of market cap here. It's in the top 14. I keep clicking around. But you can see it's up about 8%, and then it's about 1% up on the day. And this is what I usually use when I just want to see how coins are doing. Coinmarketcap.com. If you don't have it bookmarked, I do recommend bookmarking it. It is one of my favorite resources to use on cryptocurrency. All right, but just taking a look at some of the others, we've got Bitcoin here doing pretty decent. It's up about 2.5% today, which is big when you consider the price of a Bitcoin. And then we've got Ethereum up 4%, doing really good. Binance is up. Binance Coin's up about 5%. Cardano doing very well, up 10%. Now, Cardano was actually oversold at a point, so I'm not surprised. It was nearing $1. It was about time for a bounce. Polkadot's up about 7%. Dogecoin's up 5%, just like Bitcoin. Or, I'm sorry, just like Ethereum and Binance. And, yeah, SHIB has actually had a really hard bounce there. It's up 16.5%. Not surprised about that either. And we'll talk about those in a bit. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good evening so far. And let's go ahead and start taking a look at the charts and do a bit of analysis here on what's going on. Let's start with Dogecoin, because I'm actually curious what the price is right now. Dogecoin's sitting at about 1610. Now, if you were looking at this chart, you saw yesterday that we actually hit about 13.5 cents. That was probably, you know, if you could have timed the bottom. And this is what I've been saying for the last couple weeks, all right? So I'm not making anything up as things go, and you can go back in time to quote me on it. Every 3 cents is my buy-in point on Dogecoin, right? And I've been saying that for a while. 19, 16, 13, 10. Those are my real levels, all right? And you guys have been here, especially if you're not new subscribers to the channel, and you know we've been covering Dogecoin since we were right about here, right? And that was, what, May? It's been a long time that almost every day we've been looking at the charts together. And you start to notice some trends, some buying trends, some selling trends, and how things tend to roll with this particular cryptocurrency. And just overanalyzing, we've just noticed 19 cents, strong support, 16 cents, strong support. And then you look just historically, what's the most likely level to be right below that? It's going to be somewhere right here in this general area where we had a bit of a pullback on this candle when we had the initial run up. And then we did find support there again right here on December the 3rd, where we bounced down to 13, which really established 13 cents as that support level yet again. So there we get reinforcement for the idea of 19, 16, 13. And so literally just anywhere in 13 cents, I'm feeling like I'm going to buy a little bit of Dogecoin. So hopefully you guys were able to buy a little bit while we were in that 13 cent mark, or even as we just grazed 14. Now, it was still a little risky. So if you did not, don't be upset with yourself. All right. Because even I, in the Discord group wasn't calling out buy signals for that because, of what we were seeing. But there is one thing that we talked about here, and I'll go ahead and pull my Twitter up. And this is what I let everybody know publicly. And maybe this is what I just got a notification here saying that I called it. Okay, thank you, Artful. Appreciate that. He actually just tweeted on my tweet, and this is exactly what I was going to pull up, so that's perfect. On January 8th, I tweeted this out. I said, we're nearing a potential buy area. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame, if we get the current daily candle to finish like this, there's a high probability of a bullish reversal to the upside. All right. And here's this tweet. This was 4 days ago. And as you can see, if you really look at that candle, and we can even look at it on Bitcoin's chart. If you look at this candle right here, this is the one I was really referring to, right? Let's double check. The wick down to about 40,500. Oh, this is not Bitcoin. It's like, why doesn't it look exactly the same? There it is. So here, this is when I was making this statement. If we could basically see this candle here turn into like a green candle and cause that reversal of trend, of pattern right here, then that would probably indicate that we're in a bullish uptrend. Really, what we wanted to see was green candles closing above the red candles here, and us getting that bowl cup-like reversal motion. As you can see, though, on that particular daily candle, we did not get that. But the general idea, if you can kind of not take it literally and just understand what I was talking about, look at the arrow here. This is the general concept. We're getting to a point here where if in the very short term we can see some green candles start closing on the upside here above where these red candles closed, that is probably going to indicate that we are now starting to reverse to the upside and we're going to start an uptrend here. And there's a few different things that could potentially indicate that. And I think this was in another tweet, and I won't find it, but I'll go ahead and just show you what I'm talking about. If you look just kind of historically at the patterns that we had forming here, I mean, we had, if you look right here, one move down, two moves down, you get the consolidation, like a fake move up where it then rejects and comes in and trades down some more. But then you get like this little thing right here. This is kind of what I was eyeballing. See this reversal? Major sell-off and then consolidation. You kind of get like a doji candle there where you have a wick on the bottom and top, but the body is right there in the middle. And then you get big green candles reversing to the upside. And if you go to the 4-hour time frame, there's probably more than one candle there. So just to look at the concept. It doesn't just have to be one candle, but this is the idea. Big sell-off, consolidation, and then big bullish candles, green candles that start closing above the sell-off candles here. And so that's really what I was looking for on the daily time frame on Bitcoin. Here, big red sell-off candles way below support, but then we hold kind of at a surprising level. And then we start seeing green candles start closing above the red sell-off candles. And if that happens, in my opinion, that was kind of the main signs and the really obvious signs that we are probably looking at a reversal to the upside. And so if you're asking me right now, before we really get more into depth, do I think that we hit a bottom? My primary initial quick answer is going to be yes. I do think that we hit a bottom, and I do think that Bitcoin might see some bullish movement here with potential to go up first and foremost to the most obvious levels, which are going to be the next EMAs here. And so that's going to be somewhere around 48 to 50K. And I think over these next couple days, maybe the next week or two, we could slowly grind up to about $46,000 to $50,000, or maybe I'll just say 46 to about, right about 50. And then we'll see what happens next. That's going to be my guess. But if you were really closely following, we also talked about how 42,000, and I did not just draw these lines, by the way, this was here from last week. 42,000 was the real resistance, but not to be faked out. Do not get faked out by selling under 42,000, because if you look horizontally, there's actually some hidden support that people might not find as obvious at the 40,000, 39,000-ish level. You look right here on the upswing. You could see that upswing ended at 41, and then we came back up and we hit 39, 40,000 before we rejected. Then we came back up. Right here, you can see we found resistance here and consolidated right at 40,000. Then we broke up, and when we broke out above 40K, that's when we saw the real big movement come. So that was obviously a strong level, 40,000. And then if you look here, where were these wicks at? 40,000, 39,000, 40,000. Same thing here, 40,000 consolidation, 40,000 resistance again, and so on and so forth. So basically what I said, if we sell off and we break below 42, that's a bad sign, and it could mean we're going down. But don't panic until we go really deep under 40 and we hold under 40, 39 or 40. And as you can see, a lot of people that were not thinking with their head clear, we broke under 40,000, lots of selling off, everybody's panicking, lots of consolidation, and then, big red candle here, everyone starts freaking out, especially as it goes under 40. You can see more panic selling, but the smart people knew that this was a level of support, and they actually tried to dip by that. Whales bought this dip and caused this to end up being a rejection of under 40s, and now we're looking at a bullish run to the upside. So hopefully you were following those plays. I know I'm not always super dramatic with the information I'm providing. Sometimes it might kind of fly under the radar. But if you just listen to kind of the info I'm putting out, you might at least catch on to my train of thought. It's not always going to be right, but it's going to be analyzing with a level head at least, which is what's really important in trading, not getting emotionally biased. And I never do that. So anyway, if you're asking me, what does this mean, Mariano? Well, so far, things are following the TA. We haven't gotten any incredibly bad news recently in the market or any really incredibly good news in the market for Bitcoin. So we're just following technicals. And apparently the way that things are playing out, fake out below 42, rejection of under 40s, and this is causing people to buy the dip and feel bullish as if we might be heading up from here. So this is my buy area. I think this is pretty good buy signals for the coins that you're interested in. And here's what I'm going to say in addition to that. Buying at a good time does not mean that you bought at the best time. Or buying at the best time doesn't mean that you bought at the right time. You know what I mean? And you could keep looping that around in different ways if you want. But here's the thing. Technically, you could see a good time to buy, but that does not mean that something unexpected won't occur to cause the price to go in the other direction. So you really can't time the market and expect to be right 100% of the time. But what you can do is time the market based off obvious buy or sell signals and hope for the best. And as long as you start investing carefully, which means managing your capital, managing your risk, not all inning at a price because you are so sure it's the bottom and then end up screwing yourself over when you don't have money to buy the dip. As long as you take things slow and think out your plan first and then execute it, it is important that you take risks at the most ideal spots and just hope for the best, whether it's wrong or not. The right play is to take risk at the least risky spots. If you take no risks, you're not going to make no money. That's not how trading works. You cannot be right all the time. So, in my opinion, buying at 40K was the risky buy, right? But it was another level of support, so it wasn't the worst. And if you bought that on Doge, you were probably buying at about 13 cents. Which was what we talked about as potential next level support. Now we're at the next spot, the next stage, which is now we've started to see confirmation of a rejection. We're starting to see some green candles. They're closing above the red candles, and it looks like we're finding some support and looking pretty decently strong above 42, which now puts me, as a Dogecoin buyer at my next spot, which is Dogecoin 16 On the way up, things are looking positive. Maybe I buy some Dogecoin at this next 3 cent level. And then if we make it up to 19, which is probably going to happen once we get into this box towards the top, if things are looking good and we start breaking above support levels, holding strong, I'll add some more at 19. I'll add some more in the 20s. Now I'll add some more towards 30. And then, till whenever my price target is where I want to sell. So on and so forth. Hope that makes sense. But I would recommend slowly but surely assuming a position if you have none and expose yourself to some risk. You got to, or you won't make any money. Toby says, I have the same shirt. I love it. Awesome, man. Hey, what's going on, Chosen? Hey, Artful, what's up? Did I see the news on XRP on Fox News? I did not. Could you share that news with me? And thank you. I appreciate it. What's up, Daniel? Thanks again, Daniel, for being a supporter of the Discord group, a member of the channel. I really appreciate that. I don't ask for money via donations or anything, so I do appreciate when you guys go out of your way to show your support. Alaric says, been a fun week of trading. Love learning how to manage my positions with things going south. Awesome. Well, hey, this is really good practice. I think crypto is probably the best way to learn how to trade. The markets are so volatile and unpredictable that from a technical standpoint, you can really start to learn really fast what to do in certain situations. Because in the stock market, there's so many different stocks. I mean, it takes months of research just to figure out which ones should you even start trading, right? You have to look at volume. You have to look at market cap, small cap, high cap, and it's just less volatile, so you don't get as much movement. You don't get as much practice. But here in crypto, it's kind of a lot of the same. If you want a really risky one, you could go low market cap. If you want a more stable one, you could go higher market cap, like top 15, top 10, or even top 20. But still, you get a lot of predictable movement for the most part, and there's less news to keep an eye on. So glad to hear that this is helping you out, man. Any news on the spot ETF? I hear March. I was hearing the same thing. I don't have an update on that, but I was hearing the same thing. It sounds like March, and maybe we could look that up. Why do some folks say we're heading to a crypto winter? It's the usual. I mean, everybody has their reasons for thinking we're going to go into a bull run or a bear run. Don't forget, though, everybody last year was saying we were going to be 1 to 200,000 by December, and not just Plan B, just everybody. And then also thinking we were going to be upwards of 100 to 200K by this point, and we're at 44. So now we've got those same people saying that we're going to go into a crypto winter, and we may not. Just everybody's making their best speculations, and it's usually just based on the way the market's trending. That's just the easiest thing to say. Just go with the flow. But I don't necessarily think we're going to see either one of those. I think we could see a rally back towards 70K and maybe some movement up to the 70 to 80K area in this orange zone, yellow zone, and then who knows? Then we could sell off. But I will say right now this looks pretty positive. What we just need to see is some more testing of support. I wouldn't get too excited, and I'm going to say, please mark my words here. I would not get too excited quite yet, even though I personally am going to go ahead and start buying some more now, because as you can see, we're at the next buying stage, which is Doge 16 cents, right? Which is where I said I'm going to buy. I stick to my plan, but I would not get overly excited and add too much capital in, because we still would like to see a little more confirmation of support here. We just broke out above 42K for the first time. Everyone's feeling bullish now. Everyone's hype, thinking, okay, this is it. But that's not how the market goes. There are smarter people out there that have more money that actually end up controlling the direction of price movement and inducing panic and fear or excitement in people when they buy or sell, and it makes the candles move. So we have to keep in mind what they may do. There could be some sort of sell-off here, and we could see a pullback back to 42. We want to make sure that if there's any pullback that we hold above like 42, 43,000 and are still actually in an uptrend here, and we're not just seeing a bounce where we'll do this, right? What we don't want to see is this. We don't want to see any of this action here. We want to see some real testing of support, holding above it, and continuing an uptrend. Now, if we start going parabolic and whatnot, okay, obviously we might be in a bit of a bull run, but we just broke above. Let's not get too excited and do anything crazy. There's always the chance of a reversal, but taking our best guess, things look good. Best guess, sorry. Yeah, exactly. We need to hold above these levels. You're exactly right, Artful. Platypus says, these last 8 months have been the kind of event that separates those with the will to succeed. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's been so much market movement, market crashing. If you truly desire to succeed, you're still here with this channel. There were a lot of people that I saw, and I remember names and usernames and all that, guys. Like all of you in the chat right now, I'm familiar with you all. I know Brandon's a little newer, but I'm familiar with you all, right? There's plenty of names that I saw months ago that I have not seen since, and that have been inactive across channels. And it's because they came in and, you know, they were here for the hype, here for the easy stuff, but they got bored or just, you know, they weren't succeeding, and so they quit. You know, a lot of people that were here for the hype and are not here for the long term. That's not myself. That's not most of you. But you have to really be committed to succeed and understand that it's not necessarily going to be short term, become a millionaire. It could be a bit of a grind to really succeed. But in the stock market, if you're trading stocks, you're happy if you can successfully invest and make like 4 to 8% gains on your portfolio year over year. And if you're a day trader, obviously you risk more to potentially make a little more. But in crypto, people are not satisfied sometimes with just gains. They want to get rich quick. Anytime you're getting rich quick, there's probably a lot of risk and a high chance of failure. So you either play it slow and reduce that risk, or you play it fast and go for broke, right? So, but you got to understand that it's not easy. That's really the point. It's not easy. It takes commitment either way. So you can trade something like Doge and be patient and wait for the announcements to fall in line and hope that Doge boosts back up and you got to buy in at 16 when Doge doubles or triples or quadruples from where it is now. Or you can shop around, look for some lower cap plays that could may or may not take off, and hope for the best there. Toby says, I used to be... Oh, sorry. John says, glad you're back. Only been trading a year. What's up, John? Good to see you again, and thank you. I appreciate that. Has Bitcoin always followed the stock market this closely? No. Actually, no. But it has been following it more closely recently. It definitely has been following it closely recently, and I think that has a lot to do with the recent announcements that have been controlling the stock market movement are very finance related. You know, tapering, inflation rates, and everything that directly impacts people's money and the value of the US dollar and whatnot. And those same kind of things also affect a currency of another type. So I think that's why we're seeing some things that kind of trickle over to Bitcoin. But I mean, we do see some direct correlations between crypto and stock movement when other things happen too. I mean, every time we hear bad news about the coronavirus getting worse, people start to panic because that means people potentially losing their jobs, maybe more lockdowns, and everyone gets scared about the value of things and if people are going to need to sell. And so people start panicking, and we see stocks value start to go down, and we see crypto value start to go down. Like, everyone panics the same. So yeah, there is some correlation. Toby says, I used to be scared of bear runs when I first started. Now I don't mind them, so I can buy more. Prices will go up anyway. Exactly. I actually really like bear runs because here's the thing that I've told you guys. The only people that don't like bear runs are people that are not trading. If you're a trader, you love bear runs because that means you get to buy another dip. And then once the dip bottoms out, you know it's going to bounce, and that's going to give you a good sell spot. Because let's just say, let's take ADA for example, Cardano. If you look at the Cardano chart here, you can see that when Cardano was getting its smart contract news, the price rallied significantly. and it went all the way up beyond the price target of $3 and hit 310. When Cardano started, obviously at the time I would have loved to see Cardano, as someone that was holding this long, would have loved to see it continue. But what's almost just as good is seeing, if you get to sell at the top anywhere in here, is seeing Cardano sell all the way back off down to $1 and give you another chance to buy in and do the same thing all over again. Because that's just as good as Cardano being $3 and you buying here, and then Cardano going to 9. If you can buy in at 1 and Cardano 3xing to 3. It's the same difference. So I don't care about the price of the asset. I care about the volatility of it and how predictable it is, and being able to get in at the bottom of a dip and feel comfortable about my buy spot, and then be able to ride the nice bounce up. So I'm hoping we see something like this here, and Bitcoin willing, we will. And yeah, Cardano was at about $1.07, so it's kind of crazy. Now it's up to 130. That's awesome. Bear runs are good for traders, but they're bad for long-term holders, because if you're not a trader and you had no intent of selling at 3 or selling at the top, that means you're still holding this. So if you bought at, let's just say, around 130 here, right here, before it took off, and you're like, okay, I'm going to make this a multi-year hold, well, it went up 3x, but it also came back down, and now you're literally at the same price that you bought at. So you're not feeling so great right now. You're probably kind of mad. Like, can you just go ahead and rally already so I can be in profit? But if you're a trader, you bought, sold, and now you're ready to rebuy. You're excited about all this stuff. So only people that hate bear runs are people that are long-term holders and not traders. Bitcoin G. If a God says, I'm still here just listening while I cook dinner. Awesome. Artful says, still no news on Tesla accepting Doge on their website. Oh, yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about, guys. So obviously there's some things going on with Bitcoin. I mean, let's just do a quick look up here. Well, let's talk about XRP first, because Artful, there in the comment section, he just linked me something. It says Ripple, or XRP's legal team, sees value in the COVID-related delay in the XRP case. They want to grill witnesses for the entire 7-hour deposition limit in person, as opposed to via Zoom, where it's less effective. Interesting. Interesting. So I guess there's some delay in the case with the SEC due to COVID. They want to be able to do it in person. I'm not sure if that's really good or bad. To me, I mean, at this point, and maybe there's been a rally in price because some people took it a different way, but to me, that's just bad. I mean, delaying, I know long term it could be good if it works out in their favor, but just delaying the potential positive side of them winning the case, if they could have got that via Zoom, is unfortunate. So that's interesting. Let's look up Bitcoin here and see if there's any new news about Bitcoin spot ETFs. I was not quite able to see. Bitcoin, SEC's running out of excuses for rejecting Bitcoin ETF. I'm not seeing any new news about acceptance, but I am just, I have just been hearing people are expecting by mid this year one will be live. I don't see any new information about, a date on something yet or one being approved. So, but I know, that is still heavy talks. That's big news for Bitcoin. If we can get another spot ETF going, that's big news. So, but really the main thing I wanted to talk about, guys, Dogecoin. All right. Dogecoin was at 13 cents and now it's at 16 cents. And if you go to a lower time frame here and just look at the price movement, you could see over these last couple days, things have been pretty extreme, right? I mean, look at this. We were at 13.7 here, and then this massive spike up to 17, the pullback down to 14, and now this big old cup and handle type formation coming back up, and we're back at 16 cents. So I want to talk about what's going on here. So in case you guys are not aware, there's been a lot of hype about Dogecoin wallets via Robinhood Wallets, and even more hype about Dogecoin for Tesla. That's been Dogecoin's main catalyst. Everybody's familiar with it. I'm sure I don't have to explain why we're excited about that. But Dogecoin being a method of payment for Tesla vehicles could be groundbreaking for Dogecoin long term, and we could really see the value of a Dogecoin start to accelerate quickly after that announcement is made. But basically, the reason we're seeing this rally is because it has been discovered. Now, we saw this a couple months ago where there was the first little hint that if you looked in the code on Tesla's website, there was the first little hint that that Bitcoin and Dogecoin were going to be coming to the website as a method of payment for their vehicles and everything on the site. There was a little hint, but it was not confirmed. It was quickly deleted and all that stuff. Recently, Elon Musk made a statement, and this was probably a week or two ago. He made a statement saying that Dogecoin is now live on the website, and you are now able to buy merch. Right? This is kind of like the beta of testing Dogecoin payments on the website. You're now able to check out and buy merch from Tesla on the website. Not vehicles yet, but merchandise. And that was the first piece of good news. It caused a bit of a spike. I'm not sure exactly where that was in the big scheme of things. I think maybe it was this one here. No, that was yesterday. I can't quite remember. Maybe it was just one of these. Maybe it was like that one or something. I don't remember. I'd have to look at the date. But it did cause a quick spike, but then it did sell off pretty quickly. But being a long-term thinker and not just following the crowd, whether or not they buy or sell, you would know that that means they're testing this out to make sure it works well, make sure there's actually demand, and as long as everything checks out, from a business perspective, they're going to move forward and go to phase 2, which is not just doing merch, but doing everything. So what we've really been waiting for, Doge for Tesla vehicles, and everything that Tesla offers, being able to buy it with Doge, and Doge being proven as a real currency that could be of use. All right, and that's what we're starting to get evidence of now. And I retweeted this. Again, you could follow me on Twitter at 2020 Tech Reviews if you like. Links in the description if you want to keep up with this info when I share it. But Tesla Model Y page payment code is showing Dogecoin as payment. Someone dug into the code here, and if you look, you can see right here, ACH, bank account, Alipay, Apple Pay, debit, card, check, Dogecoin. So it is there in the code. It's not live yet, but it's in the code, and someone was able to dig this up. So now this is confirmation that it is most likely coming very, very, very soon for vehicles. Not live yet, but coming very, very soon. And so that's why we started to see the massive spike right here. That's what this was. And I think that's what's also causing some people to really continue buying this up at a rate that we had not seen over the last couple weeks, as we had no real good news to go off of. Now we've got a bit of a catalyst, and people, I think, are really starting to warm back up to Dogecoin. In my opinion, this is the best time to get in if you're not already in. Get in before everybody else does. We can already see that we have some early people getting in here, and this hype is slowly starting to brew. And I think if Bitcoin keeps moving up and Dogecoin starts breaking above some of these previous resistance levels, and we start confirming an uptrend here, we're going to continue to see a snowball effect of buying pressure. And Dogecoin might have a delayed launch here, where we could see Doge end up above 19 cents and back in the 20s really soon. Really soon. So keep an eye on that. And that's basically what we're seeing with Doge here. Doge for Tesla is massive news, and I can't enforce enough. If you've been around for a while and you've been a believer in Dogecoin, don't chicken out all of a sudden just because prices are low and the market's not super bullish when we have the biggest announcement of all time here on our hands. At least take a chance and buy some Dogecoin and hope for the best, even if it doesn't take off like a rocket. Don't sit on the sidelines when you have your major catalyst that we've been here waiting for a year for, and the time comes, and then, you're like, oh, well, look at the market. Doesn't look that positive. What if it goes down? Now's not the time for that. If you are a believer in Doge and you've been here for months or for weeks, and you've been staring at the charts and you've been waiting for a bull run, and you've been waiting for catalysts to make this go up, this is what you've been waiting for. So it wouldn't make sense to not buy any and be ready. So anyway, we've already got Elon Musk talking about it. It's already going live to test with merch. It's not going to be here quite yet, apparently, because like Artful said, you still can't buy the merch yet. He made the announcement, but it doesn't seem to be live yet. So it's probably still going to go through that stage. But then after that, we can already see that they're getting the code ready. So get ready, basically, is all I can say. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't sue me. YouTube, don't cancel my channel. But that's really all I can say. On top of that, we already know we have some more information on Robinhood Wallets. So Robinhood Wallets is now entering beta, leaving alpha and entering beta. And so they're starting to open Robinhood Wallets up to more people. All right. So you're going to be seeing Robinhood Wallets really soon. It's going to coincide really, really nicely with the Doge for Tesla stuff going on. And so you guys know what I've been saying about the perfect storm. Well, what's the ideal scenario for Dogecoin to go to the moon? It's Doge for Tesla going live when Bitcoin's on a bull run, already pulling Dogecoin up on its own. So we just add the announcement and catalyst onto that positive movement where people are already feeling good and in a buying mode, right? And on top of that, the announcement also coming after Robinhood Wallets, so that people, being that like 60 or 70% of Dogecoin is held on Robinhood, and because there's no wallets, you can't actually spend it, unleash that by making Robinhood Wallets go live first, give people the ability to actually spend it and send it to other people, and then Doge for Tesla go live. So now we've got all the Dogecoin unlocked, and now you can use it on Tesla's website, and it's just the perfect storm for everyone to get super excited about the potential of Doge. And that's what we need. People to get excited about the potential of Doge. That's what's going to cause people to buy more Dogecoin and want to hold it. And that's where the advantage is of buying in early before that happens. And then once all the hype comes in, we're at 30, 40, 50, 60 cents because everyone thinks Dogecoin's way more valuable. Then you can consider exchanging your Dogecoin for a service, for another item, or for a US dollar or a different crypto or whatever you want to cash out with. That's where you get your value. John says, pretty much been just holding my Dogecoin for the past year, waiting for Tesla to accept it before I start to trade it. I would have traded it, but I never knew when the announcement might happen and miss out. Yeah, I understand. And after a long wait, it looks like we're finally getting there. So this is looking really good. I just want to buy my Tesla with my Doge. Even then, I am short. Me too. Hey, me too. Not just you. I'm short. I'm short for a Tesla Model S Plaid, but hoping to get there one day. Any other questions, guys? Let me look up. I think I missed someone asking about something that I wasn't aware of. Oh, no, I didn't. So the Artful Doger says, how does Elon Musk stabilize Doge for Tesla? And that's a really good question. I think from Tesla's perspective, now is really the absolute best time to start accepting. Oh, you're right. Dogecoin spiked. Thank you, Baby Menace. Dogecoin really just jumped a big amount here. Doge was 16.10 and it just spiked up to 16.4. This is the kind of price movement I'm talking about. As we break above levels, Dogecoin's really slowly but surely starting to heat up, guys. It really is. And it might not be obvious because the price is still so low and you see it 13, 14, 15 cents. You're just thinking, bearish prices. But look at the positive movement over this short period of time. Big positive movement. And if we look at Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin's not doing the same thing. This is Dogecoin doing its own thing right now. There is some hype around Dogecoin that not a lot of people are catching on to. So I would definitely have some sort of position. Bitcoin testing 44 again. Yep. Thank you, and thanks again for the call out there, Baby Menace. I almost missed it. What's up, Juan? Yeah, good to see you too, man. But yeah, how does Elon stabilize Dogecoin for Tesla? That's a really good question. From a business perspective, I've always said it would make the most sense for a company to start accepting crypto at a support level so that they don't expose themselves to as much risk. So in my opinion, if Tesla's going to accept Bitcoin, it would make the most sense to accept it, near 30 to 40K, because that's what's kind of been proven as support. And at least if things don't go super well for Bitcoin over the next year, from a financial perspective, they're not going to really be losing that much money per vehicle or per Bitcoin or whatever. Because imagine this, Tesla pulls in El Salvador, and El Salvador was buying a whole lot of Bitcoin in large sums at prices towards 60 to 70,000 at the peaks. It's kind of like buying at the top, FOMO buying in, right? The thing that we always talk about not doing. So when you buy up there, you expose yourself to so much risk, because what if you just bought, or you allowed yourself to accept, let's just say in Tesla's case, Tesla says, all right, we're going to accept Bitcoin here when it's at 69K per Bitcoin. And then they sell thousands of cars, people are paying in Bitcoin, and then the value of Bitcoin ends up dumping down from $69,000, $20,000 per coin. That's so much money lost per vehicle, per transaction, because the value of the currency decreased by almost 50%. It makes the most sense not to expose yourself to that kind of risk. So if you could buy it or start accepting it when the value of it has pulled back and is finding support, and you could say, all right, we'll take it now, then at least you're exposing yourself to a more favorable condition to where you could start accepting vehicles or Bitcoin as payment for your Teslas. Let's just say a Model 3 is 45K. And so 1.0001 Bitcoin will get you a Model 3. Then you come back a couple months from now, and the value of a Bitcoin is, let's just say, 75,000. So they actually made 30K on that transaction because the value of the currency went up that much versus losing it. So, a long story short, I think really accepting it very, very, very soon makes the most sense. I'm talking Dogecoin and Bitcoin and anything else, because we're clearly finding bottoms here. We're clearly finding bottoms. Very clearly. I think really what we want to see here is, if we just kind of sum this up, if you go to the weekly time frame, you can kind of see the idea of what happened over these last two moves. We don't want this to turn into a head and shoulders and finish out as a head and shoulders move. So you can see shoulder, neckline, head, neckline, shoulder, back to neckline. We don't want this to then just do a little dead bounce here and then finish the head and shoulders pattern. We need to break out of that by seeing this candle, first of all, break back above the 200 EMA, the 50 EMA here on the weekly time frame. And that would just be continuing to follow the pattern of pulling back to the 50, going under it a little bit, but then bouncing out. And so we could see that here. And then we also want to pass this red candle here at 47,000. So if we can get above 48K, that's a good sign. And if really we could start getting above this level, which was the highest point of each of these shoulders. So if we can get clear of about 53K and hold above there, 53, 54, 55, we're probably in really good shape. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Now, the Artful Doger says that if Elon accepts Bitcoin at the same time, we make it a double boost. Yes, absolutely. And that would be even better. That would just be even better. If he said something like, Dogecoin coming now, Bitcoin coming soon, or both at the same time, or whatever, it's going to be really good. and we're going to see these cryptos absolutely moon. And I mean, if Bitcoin recovers back to 60, 70,000, I mean, that alone could start the Bitcoin, really the actual bull run that starts sending us back on track towards 100K and beyond. And that price movement alone would pull Dogecoin up multiple X. So I'm talking Doge sitting here at about 16. By the time Bitcoin's at 100K, Doge is probably sitting at 30 to 40 cents, just following the market movement. So then imagine sticking Doge for Tesla on top of that, and we're talking like 40 to 80 cents or even higher. So that would be the best way to do it. Robinhood Wallets first, then Doge and Bitcoin for Tesla second. Logan Lisk says, bull trap for sure. Great to see you, big fella. Hope you're doing well. With the female emoji. Well, thank you, and thank you for your input there. Hopefully you clicked the like button and subscribed, and you also answered the poll. Thank you for your participation, and welcome to the channel. Is Argentina next to accept Bitcoin? Are they? I didn't hear news on that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Interesting. Well, it looks like via some methods, Bitcoin is actually starting to be used. It's expanded into Argentina, so it's now accessible to Argentinians, which is awesome. That's another positive catalyst. But I don't think it's legal tender. It's just some companies making it available. Any Tesla news? Let's take a look. Excuse me. While we're here. Art with me says, is it smart to wait for it to sell off a bit after all of today's positive movement before buying in? I'm never good at identifying the top. I would say yes and no. I mean, it really depends on how much you're going to be looking at the chart. It gets really hard when you don't plan something out in advance to avoid FOMO buy-ins. So if you want to do that, you need to take a look at the chart and start formulating a plan now. Because it can get really hard to identify, well, what's the buy and sell signals. Now, as you can see, we're on the 4-hour time frame here on Dogecoin, and we are at a resistance level here, and that's why we're seeing a bit of a green to red candle move here. It could continue up, or it could sell off. If we do continue up, though, the next resistances are kind of here at 16.5 and then 17 cents. And then after that, it's kind of moon level. So, I mean, you could wait and hope and look for real confirmation by breaking above the 200 EMA, holding above the 17 cent level, and then looking for a buy somewhere there. Or if you missed that, waiting for the next level, which is 19. But at that point, you missed multiple cents. For me, I just know 13, 16, 19, and so on and so forth. Those are my buying spots. So anytime we hit those, I don't feel bad about buying in. If you want to be a little more careful, yeah, you can wait, but you might end up waiting too long. So I would say just from Bitcoin's price movement, though, and the Dogecoin announcement, it probably makes more sense to be a little more bullish than bearish. So maybe I wouldn't be so careful. At the same time, we are still near, also on the 4-hour time frame, resistance from Bitcoin. So we have till about 44.8 if we're going to be conservative with this EMA here. We would want to pass above this to make sure that we're not going to just get rejected here and then continue into a downtrend. So if you're going to wait, maybe you just wait for Bitcoin to clear this 100 EMA at 44.5 and hold above that before you buy some Doge. But I don't know. I think Dogecoin's going to start moving up. If Bitcoin continues up, I think Dogecoin's going to move up faster because at least it has that big catalyst to get it moving. So by that time, we could be at Dogecoin 17 and a half. Do you think Elon's waiting for key levels, Bitcoin at 69 and 42 cents, both meme? No, I don't. I don't think he's going to wait for that. I think financially it would make way more sense to go live now, like I was saying, so that they are also buying the bottom, because they're not only going to need to have Dogecoin on their balance sheet, so they're going to need to buy some and have some on hand, just like anything else, anyone else that's doing business with a crypto. But they're also then going to be exchanging their goods and services for these currencies. So it makes more sense to start accepting Dogecoin, for example, when you can get way more Dogecoin for the same price or for the same product, and then hope that the value of that goes up, so that then all your coins you accumulated are worth more money, versus for meme value waiting to 42 cents per Doge, and then what if the price reverses? Then they lose money off each transaction. So I think it would be really funny. I don't think that he's waiting, though. Any Tesla news, though? Maybe that'll be the final thing we look at. Not except for, it looks like just the Model Y payment code showing Doge for Tesla. I know they're also increasing pricing on full self-drive. People weren't too thrilled about that. I don't think there's any... I don't think there's really any more Tesla-specific news that's groundbreaking at the moment. But we can just take a quick look at Tesla's share price. Okay, which is actually pretty good. It went on this big rally, made it all the way up to 1,200, sold off into the 900s, and it's quickly bounced back to 11. So it's actually doing pretty good. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but it did look like it wanted to pull back harder than that, but it held. So good for Bitcoin, or Tesla rather. Anyway, I need to go get some water and eat dinner. I'm starting to feel the effects of this long work day, and my speech is going out the window. So I'm going to start wrapping up the stream here. I think Elon Musk is ready to go now, and I think it's just a matter of time. I really think best case scenario, though, is we see Robinhood Wallets go live first. Maybe they are keeping an eye on that and they'll wait, but we know that the beta for Robinhood Wallets is kind of starting to roll out now. And they said by mid-January, a lot of people would have exposure to Robinhood Wallets. The beta is probably going to end, and we'll probably see a full rollout sometime in February. So I wouldn't be giving it much more than a month or 2 months before we start seeing real or hearing real news about Doge for Tesla going live. So in my opinion, we're uncomfortably close to the go live date, and I'm going to definitely make sure I'm feeling comfortable with my Dogecoin position size. So I would start buying some now. Not all your money. Please save for another dip. Might happen, but would not bet on it. Yeah, it will definitely help with stabilizing the price of Doge. I mean, the thing that's going to happen with Doge, I mean, let me just go weekly here so I can get a big chart. So this is what's probably going to happen with the price of Dogecoin here. We're going to be hanging out. Let me hide. Some of these levels is a bit much, but it's all right. Going to be hanging out here. We get Robinhood Wallets. We start creeping up and increasing in price, right? And then we're stabilizing somewhere probably in this like near 20 cent range. This is Bitcoin, assuming Bitcoin trades in a slight uptrend from here on out and doesn't crash, right? And then we get Dogecoin for Tesla, and we really start to move up. Big spikes, massive announcement, biggest catalyst for Dogecoin of all time, thing that everyone's been waiting on. Maybe we see some movement up to here. All right, and then we probably see massive sell-off. Everyone starts to dump. And then after that, I think is when we start to stabilize, because then we're going to start to see people starting to buy that dip, understanding that Dogecoin has some value and that it's being accepted as by this major company. And then we're going to start to hear of more catalysts from other companies starting to take Doge serious as well, because they see the industry-leading coin accepting Dogecoin as well, or company accepting Dogecoin. And so then the value of Doge just universally starts to be accepted as being more. And then we find a price level eventually where Doge starts to sit and stabilize at. So that's when that stabilization is going to happen. But in between then, there's going to be a whole lot of volatility. So the stabilizing happens after Doge for Tesla announcement, the buy up, the sell off, the slow reclaiming of price here, and then other companies accepting it as well. And once we start to get to a point where like Bitcoin is now, where every company, or we already know Bitcoin's pretty much had all the catalysts it can have. It's being accepted as legal tender in different countries. People are taking it serious. Everybody around the world, celebrities are into crypto and NFTs. Like, it's got its catalysts. Now it's just dependent on people's viewpoint of it at the time. Once Dogecoin hits that point where it's gotten all its catalysts, that's when we'll start to see stability. So at that point. And yes, we're stable right now, but this is only temporary. The real stability long term comes after that announcement and all the volatility after that. Hey, Skydive. I've been here. I was live a couple days ago, and before that, I took a couple week break while I was off work. The second half of December was pretty slow. So while I took off work, I also took off of looking at the charts. So for those last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I was gone, but I'm still here. Still here and back at it. Just I am going live a little less often while things are still slow, but I am going live to make sure that we cover the important stuff. But I'm trying to take it slow and take more time to do some research in between. What I'm really trying to get into now, as you probably saw in the Discord group, is there's a new channel here for NFT plays that I just started right before the stream, and that's what I'm trying to get an edge on here short term, so that we can, for those that like to diversify their portfolio, we can start talking about trading NFTs, because I think there's a lot of scams in the NFT space, but if we can really find like the good NFTs that are actually valuable, and NFT driven projects too. NFTs don't have to just be artwork, but non-fungible tokens can be used for things like movie tickets, for things like, just anything you need to see a copy of that you need to authenticate as legitimate. What do I think of solving the money problem videos? Haven't seen those. I'll have to check it out. Let me write that down so I don't forget. Solving the money problems videos. I'll check that out after stream. Thank you. Appreciate that. Do I follow Lloyd Ostertag on Twitter? I don't. Should I? Okay, well, I'll give him a follow, and I'll look at some of the stuff that he says here. And I'll check out his content, see what he's got to say. But anyway, guys, that's about going to do it. I do need to run. We've got about an hour here, which I think is pretty good. So thank you all for the support. Of course, subscribe if you have not. We'll be live probably in a couple days, as long as something's going on. If not, sometime next week. And other than that, I'll be live on Twitter and active in the Discord group. So feel free. Follow me on Twitter, links in the description, at 2020 Tech Reviews, if you want to stay up to date on everything that's going on before we get more major things to talk about, and we can have another good hour stream for the next one. So thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream.